I was staring at my bank account this morning, and honestly, I just felt heavy. It's that familiar weight in the pit of my stomach, where every digit feels like a reminder of what I'm doing wrong. I'd spent the last hour convincing myself that I was stuck, that the numbers weren't moving, and that my debt was this immovable mountain. I felt small, frustrated, and a little bit like I was just playing pretend with this whole journey. I sat there with my phone in my hand, watching the cursor blink on my banking app, almost afraid to scroll down because I didn't want to see the reality of my choices reflected back at me in cold, hard font. It's that paralyzing feeling where you'd rather stay in the dark than face the mess you've made. But then I decided to do a deep dive audit of my last few days. I told myself I'd look into every corner, every forgotten account, and every digital pocket. And that's when I stumbled onto something I didn't expect. I found $15. It was just sitting there, tucked away in an old digital wallet I'd forgotten I even had from a random peer-to-peer transfer months ago. It's not a lot, I know. In the grand scheme of things, $15 is barely a tank of gas or a decent lunch. It's not going to pay off a credit card or change my life overnight. But in that specific moment of feeling like a total failure, seeing that $15 felt like finding a lifeline in the middle of the ocean. It was a tiny, unexpected win that reminded me that the math isn't always working against me. Sometimes it surprises me. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here is exactly what happened. I think I've spent so much time focusing on the big, scary debt numbers, the thousands of dollars I still owe that seem to grow eyes and stare at me at night, that I've completely lost sight of the small change. Finding that $15 was like a physical jolt to my system. It was a reminder that money is fluid, and even when I feel like I'm drowning, there are little pockets of air if I actually have the courage to look for them. It shifted my perspective from I have nothing to I have something to work with. But the high from that discovery didn't last long. Discovery usually leads to more discovery. And what I found next when I turned my audit toward my physical space was a lot harder to swallow. Before I get into the messy part of the audit, I have to ask, have you ever felt that? That weird, dizzying mix of sudden relief followed by immediate guilt. The second you actually look at your money? Let me know if I'm the only one who rides that emotional roller coaster before my first cup of coffee. Finding that $15 was the high point of my morning, but then I had to look at my kitchen counter. As I continued my audit, moving from the digital world to the real world, I opened my fridge and the guilt hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized I was throwing away $30 worth of groceries. It wasn't just food, it was $30 of my hard-earned life force sitting in the bottom of the trash bin. There was a bag of spinach that had turned into that unrecognizable green slime, a carton of organic berries I forgot was hidden in the back behind the condiments, and some expensive leftovers I swore I'd eat for lunch on Tuesday but never touched. It hit me hard. Finding $15 felt like a miracle, a gift from the universe, but realizing I'd literally thrown $30 in the trash felt like a punch in the gut. It's the ultimate irony of my financial life right now. I'm out here hunting for crumbs while I'm letting the whole loaf of bread rot in the pantry. My debt number didn't move this week because of a market crash or some big, unavoidable emergency. It stayed stagnant because I let $30 real rot while I wasn't looking. I was so busy worrying about the future that I neglected the inventory I already paid for in the present. I looked at my log to face the damage. My debt is currently sitting at $12,450. If I hadn't wasted that food, if I had just been disciplined enough to eat what I already bought, that number could have been $12,420 today. It sounds so small when I say it out loud, just $30, but when you see it on paper next to your goals, it makes it painfully real. I'm not some financial guru with a perfect plan or a color-coded life. I'm just a person who bought a salad they didn't eat and now has to face the cost of that choice. I'm sharing this because I want to be honest about the leaks in my boat. It's easy to post about the wins, but it's the leaks that sink us. It's messy, it's frustrating, and honestly, it's just plain embarrassing to admit I'm essentially throwing money out the window. But if you're tired of the perfect finance creators who never seem to make a mistake, and you want to document your own messy, imperfect journey alongside mine, I'd love for you to subscribe. We can be honest about our wilted spinach and our financial fumbles together. The $30 loss completely wiped out the $15 win and then some. It felt like I was moving backward in slow motion. I sat there at my kitchen table with my spreadsheet open, looking at the food category, and that red bar was just mocking me. I had to ask myself why I did it. It wasn't an accident, it was a choice. It's usually because I'm tired after work, I'm stressed, and I reach for the convenience of takeout instead of the food I already sacrificed my time to pay for. So the $30 isn't just lost money, it's the high cost of my convenience and my lack of a simple plan. It's a $30 lesson that I'm forced to learn the hard way today. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and while they aren't pretty, they are the truth. And the truth is, I can't rely on finding a lucky $15 every day, but I can definitely make the choice to stop throwing $30 away. So I'm sitting here looking at this $15 win and this $30 loss, and when you do the math, it's a wash. Actually, it's worse than a wash. It's a $15 deficit. But instead of letting that gap spiral into a reason to give up on the whole week, or go on an I already failed spending spree, I'm leaning into the 1% system. The goal isn't to reach some impossible state where I never waste a single leaf of lettuce again, or to magically find hidden money every morning. It's just to be 1% more aware today than I was yesterday. That $15 I found, I'm not spending it on a treat because I had a hard day. It's going straight to my smallest credit card balance right now. I'm clicking transfer as I speak. It won't clear the debt and it won't make the bank stop calling, but it changes the momentum of my day. It turns a found moment into a foundation moment. I'm realizing that my atomic finance step for this week isn't about a massive sweeping lifestyle overhaul that I'll probably quit by Wednesday. It's about the $1. If I can focus on saving just $1 from being wasted, tomorrow I'm winning the war. It's about closing the gap between the person who buys the groceries with high hopes and the person who actually stands in front of the stove and cooks them. I'm not looking for perfection anymore. I'm just looking for that 1% margin where I'm slightly more intentional and slightly less impulsive. We are in this together, and the path forward isn't a frantic sprint. It's just a series of tiny $1 adjustments that eventually add up to the freedom we're all looking for. My 1% mission for tomorrow is just to move $1 from my checking account to my debt payment. That's it. Just $1 to prove to myself that I'm the one in control of the numbers, not the other way around. What's your 1% step? Will you skip one $5 impulse buy at the checkout line? Or will you find one item in your fridge to eat tonight before it goes bad? Let's share our small, messy wins in the comments below so we can keep each other moving. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.